Yo, what's up? Finally back in the gym, woke up this morning and felt like, you know what? I think the only thing holding me back now is just the fact that I work really hard in the gym. And so there's always that little moment of, whether or not this is something that I enjoy, just like with all work and progress up to the point of your own sense of perfection with things, right? Because maybe there's always this sense of fear that the point of matter itself that gives us the idea of solidity, once truly solid, always disappears. It always lets go. And in that place where it says that there is no control, then I think that it comes to the idea of where it is actually more real. But, that's just my little what if kind of philosophism this morning, getting back into this. But man, these last 2 days have been kind of like, just kind of marathon running some stuff. Hey, Dave. On TV and whatever, but I felt like I was like laying down on a pentagram, like pinned and, having molten lead poured down my throat at some point in time. It was just like, holy moly, this is terrible. I don't even know if I've ever had a sore throat that bad before. Just pins and needles. I drew a picture of this dragon when it was like, just felt like it was on fire one day, and I was like, oh, that's a pretty good representation of how I felt, like my expression, just like this dragon, and it had like a jet engine in its mouth, just expelling all these flames or whatever, and it just went on and on and on, kind of like maybe when we get what we deserve kind of moment, where it's like we've really got caught up in something. We're sick. What does sick really mean, Is it like the idea of flaw? Is it bad luck? Is it all just a game? Is it all just chance? Or does it really mean something? If so, what does it mean, And being sick always kind of has a little bit of a grace period with it, where it's like, like I can get everything off. Everybody knows. Everybody's like respectful of it, and it's like, yeah, well, all right, well, I'm just gonna lay down. There's a little bit of a grace period. I think people are lying if they don't kind of say that, but the memory of that pain is like pretty near and dear at this point, of just like, holy. But pretty unbearable, honestly. Maybe it is just like what I was saying before, and it's like, what, things are real, like I'm real, and something is actually taking real consideration of me, some life force, something is really going after me, trying to take me down. Certainly there are more or less ridiculous ways to look at things, right? But is it that ridiculous when you consider your soul and you consider all the things you might come across, and all the different energies of different things that maybe in some way it could be something unseen, right? telling me maybe that I'm real, giving me some direction, ultimately with how I feel, right? We touch things and things come our way. It all gives us a sense of orientation with feeling and control and direction, which is probably the lamest way to look at it, ironically, but in some way you can come to that point from kind of like a spiritual way too, you know? I kind of want to see where I'm at after all that. I've like hardly not even eaten anything either. I just seriously drank. I just would sit and drink bottles of water like all day. That's like a week. And I'm back. And now that I've been to the lowest point, I think all I got to do is maintain my point maybe there's some golden point. To that point is just like whatever happens after I've made all these points. In some sense, all those little things you do add up to everything about you, just like the little decisions and choices that you make every day eventually are what lead the way.